Well, in Washington, boy, 2 days could mean an extra $1 trillion. That's right. An extra $1 trillion is going to go out in grants. Well, that's a maybe. Because this is what the House now has said. In other words, the package for the virus, relief package, is stuck in the Senate, and they can't pass it because too many I think too many Republicans are quarantined and they can't come and vote. So they're stuck. And that package is worth like 1.5 or $7 trillion, in grants and other, loans you don't have to pay back and stuff like that to individuals and businesses. Now, so the House got a little upset because it's stuck over there. So they came out with their own bill because nobody listens to them over there, I think. And so they came out with a proposed bill that's going to be 2.5 trillion. Okay, so the White House started at 1 trillion. The Senate brought it up to 1.5 trillion. Now the House is talking about 2.5 trillion. A trillion here, a trillion there. Pretty soon you start talking serious money. That's an old joke if you're old enough. But here's what's in the House bill. A lot of it that was in the Senate bill, it's just going to be more, higher numbers. Okay. So now for individuals, what they're talking about is the cash advance that individuals will get. Okay. And it's going to be $1,500 per person. Okay. The Senate was going to be $1,200 per person. But what's interesting about this is that the House is going to make rich people pay their money back. So if you make like $75,000 or $100,000 as a couple, you got to pay back your $1,500. Okay. There's going to be more help for hospitals. And that's interesting. It's not, well, it's a lot bigger. In other words, they're the people really stuck in this thing. I mean, we're going to have so many more people in the hospital. We don't have enough beds and things like that. So they're increasing the amount of money the hospitals are going to get. Now, expanding unemployment and sick leave. Now, this for you as an individual should be aware of. They're going to make an extra $600 per week on top of what the state and federal benefits currently are. So if you're now, if you're going to get unemployment compensation and you get $500 a week, well, now you're going to get an extra $600 a week. So that's $1,100 a week. Okay, that's it. Now there's emergency funding for federal agencies too. Well, that's interesting because they provide services to individuals. So how good those services will be. Now here's interesting for the airlines. Okay, they're going to give billions and billions of dollars to the airlines. But they want to do is they want to make sure that the airlines are going to work on becoming fuel efficient. Okay, so green rules, and so they're going to kick in an extra $1 billion so they can work on less carbon from the airlines. And also they're going to have a program for cash for clunkers. They're going to buy back old planes so they could buy new planes that are more energy efficient. Now there's a lot of tax credits too. A tax credit is important because like the earned income tax credit, which they're talking about increasing that's money you get from the IRS even if you don't pay taxes. So it's really a grant. It's another way to get grant money to people through the tax system. Now, some tax credits require that you have to pay taxes first to have a credit. Some tax credits, doesn't matter. If you never pay taxes in your life, the IRS will just send you a grant back. So, and that's going to be increased for health insurance, for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and dependent care tax credit. So if you don't pay, and I don't know if I know earned income tax credit, you don't have to pay taxes or make any money to get that. They just send you the check. The child tax credit and the dependent care, I'm not positive about, so you have to check that out. Okay. Now this is interesting too. The lobbying restrictions. If businesses get a lot of money from the government on this program, they're saying you can't lobby the government. That's funny. People on both sides will be pissed at that if that goes through. The Democrats and Republicans, because that's what K Street in Washington, D.C., there's a street here, very popular, a business district, where all the lobbyists are. So they're going to start marching there soon if they can't lobby. Business tax relief. Okay, companies will get credits against payroll taxes for giving employees any kind of sick or family medical leave, not just for the coronavirus related reasons. So this is interesting. So by now encourage to give more sick leave for people because they'll pay less taxes to pay your salary while you get sick leave. See, so it won't cost the business any money to pay you now for sick leave. Aid for airlines, that's new. Let's see, the airlines will receive $40 billion in grants through the House package, as well as $21 billion in unsecured loans and loan guarantees, for a total of $61 billion in aid. The Senate's only promised $58 billion. So I'll see your $58 billion and raise you $3 more billion. Yeah. Smaller increase for the Pentagon. It's like peanuts. I don't know why they even have this there. Extra aid for small business. Okay, your small business, here's what they're talking about there. Democrats are pitching $500 billion in grants and interest-free loans to small businesses. $500 billion. So the whole package is only 2.5 trillion. So this is five. So that's, this is like 20% of that in grants and interest-free loans. Now, if it's a loan, then it's not it's not going to come out of the Treasury because they're going to get it back. So I don't know how much that is. But there's grants and interest-free loans, including $300 billion in forgivable loans. Okay, to cover short-term payroll costs. I mean, I remember back in the flood, my family was involved, and they got forgivable loans as a small business. Okay, here what they're saying, okay, we'll lend you money to pay employees during this crisis, and we'll forgive the loan. So I don't know why they go through that parade sham of give a loan and then turn it into a grant. Everybody knows it's going to be a grant, so why the hell they just did? Mine's not the reason why. That's why you don't try to understand why the government is doing something. You just try to understand if they're doing it. Why it is too complicated. Not for you and me. Okay, outlawing internet cutoffs. How do you like this? While hundreds of internet providers have already promised they will not cut off your service to households and small businesses while the virus rages, the bill would make it illegal to do it. Okay, not just from the goodness of their heart, but we got internet cops. Further action from the Fed. This is important. Consumer debt payments would be suspended. You hear that? Consumer debt payments will be suspended. Now there's a way to suspend them, and I'm going to do a different video on that soon. So don't worry so much about all the bills you have because there's ways around that. And now in this law by the House, if they pass this one, has consumer debt payments will be suspended. They'll be stopped. Nobody will call you to pay your bills. And the Federal Reserve would establish a program to reimburse creditors for lost revenue. So somehow, if they're not making interest because you're not paying your debt, the government's going to pay the credit card company. So you have to be paid to be nice. The central bank will also have would also have to support state and local bond markets in addition to providing direct loans to small businesses. Okay, now there's also the Federal Reserve, I'm going to get another report on that, already has direct loans to not direct loans, they're subsidized through the banks, but they have that for small businesses now. Okay, flush with food assistance. I don't know, flush sounds like toilet stuff. So food, that sort of makes sense. Okay. The bill includes $450 million boost to food banks, as well as whatever funds are necessary to account for more people in need of food stamps. The Republicans have proposed $15 billion. Okay, so in other words, in assistance. So they're going to add the $15 billion, $450 million. Rewarding nonprofits. Hospitals would qualify for tax credits for charity care they provide and for creating and expanding facilities to handle the virus patient load. Government employees, including public universities, would get tax credits for mandated worker leave due to the virus. So these nonprofits can treat you for free, like hospitals, because the government will subsidize them with tax credits. Penalizing price gougers. The FTC and top lawyers at the state level will get more power to go after people and companies that price gouge during the pandemic. Keeping utilities on, besides the $1.5 billion to help low-income households. Okay, this is important. There's now $1.5 billion to help low-income households pay water bills. The House legislation would ban utility providers from cutting off the service during the crisis. Doubling up on education cash. Okay, Democrats are calling for $60 billion in emergency assistance to go out to education initiatives, about 3 times the amount the Senate bill contains. A total of $30 billion to help K through 12 schools, as well as $10 billion for colleges and universities. So you're involved with a college or university or your local grammar school, look for this money, okay? There's going to be $60 billion to help you, because they probably need help because now kids are coming to school and you have to figure out how to educate them. Now, I don't understand this. Saving the T-band for first responder. I guess that's a FTC thing on the, in the air to talk to each other, the spectrum, stuff like that. So that's what's going on now. Keep tuned. And I think it's important to understand what they're talking about, because if you're just going to wait till the law passes, then the crowd starts, and you want to be ahead of the crowd. So you want to know the possibilities of things that are going to be there before the reality sets in, because now you have the House with all this stuff, you have the Senate, and in our democracy, supposedly, they have to agree and figure out somewhere in between. So now you have the two things to look at and what may be there, so you can start looking at it. And let's go help people. I'll send you a list of where. See, all this will be local, and that's what to learn about what the local things. If you're once this happens and you're not really sure, go to your county government. They'll have things up. Your state government will have things up. Call 211 wherever you are, and your elected official. They're the places to start banging on, or me at Lesko Help. And if you want to join Lesko Help, that's where I give individual assistance to anybody who's looking for free sources of money and help to solve any kind of problem. And you can go to lesko.com for more information about that. But you have enough to get in trouble all by yourself now.